Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I am your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God has a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there's one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common, and that's the knowledge that there is a being. By no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Buddha, Jehovah, Allah, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed almighty. Today is October the 25th, 2018, and I remind you of that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion, it's a two-way conversation. For those of you that are watching on TV, you see the telephone number that's on your screen. I invite you to use that number, call in, and join the discussion. For those of you that are watching by Facebook, I invite you to call in or, better yet, post your comment on Facebook, and we'll do our best to read your comment so that you can participate in the discussion. If there's something that's going on in your mosque, your church, your temple, your synagogue, your masjid, your place of worship, and you want to let the world know about it, call in or post a message on Facebook and let the world know about it. If there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to let the world know about it, call in or post a comment and let the world know about it. More important than what's going on in your place of worship, at least in my opinion, more important than what's going on in your place of worship, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit organization, if there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life. And I use that term literally, a miracle, because the God that I'm here to tell you about is working miracles. I'm not talking about worked miracles thousands of years ago. I'm talking about working miracles today, October the 25th, 2018. So if God has worked a miracle in your life, you know, today we hear about all different forms of problems. We hear about folks that are suffering with addictions, folks that have tried all different types of 10-step, 12-step programs and couldn't get any help. But there's some folks that have tried all those problems, didn't get any relief, but God healed them, took away that addiction, healed their body, healed their minds, healed their spirits. If God has worked a miracle in your life, call in, post your comments, post your testimony on Facebook. It may be somebody that's going through some similar problems right now, and they may be on the verge, right on the edge of giving up, may have lost all hope. Hearing your testimony about how God worked a miracle in your life, it might be the one thing that they need to hear to give them hope, to strengthen them, to help them hold on until God works a miracle in their life. So call in, post your testimony, share your testimony that God is indeed working miracles. October the 25th, 2018, God is indeed working miracles. I'm speaking a little bit fast tonight because we have a real packed show. We're going to continue with part 2 of our 6-week discussion about the history of Christianity. We have our announcements, and then we'll have our words of inspiration. But I'm excited. I'm speaking fast because I'm excited. We have an in-studio guest today. For the first time being on the program, and I want to welcome her now. That's Madam Gayla Spiller, President of the Jefferson Parish NAACP. Welcome, Madam President.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure to be on your show. My name is Gaylor A. Spiller. I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I am a single parent. I have a son that's an honors student. He's in the 12th grade. He plays football and he works part-time. My daughter, she graduated. She's in college and she's working full-time. I come to you tonight, brothers and sisters, with some important information that I really, really want you to pay attention to. As some of you may know and may not know, that we as black folks have always turned our votes at a low count. So here's what I want to say, a message. I'm echoing what our former president Obama said. And it's so true. I mean, it is so true and it's so real and it's very much alive today. This is a message to our black folks. I want you to realize that everything we stand for is at stake. All the progress that we have made is at stake. Our ancestors, the NAACPs, and our former President Obama's name is not on the ballot. But I can tell you, progress is on the ballot. Tolerance is on the ballot. Democracy is on the ballot. Justice is on the ballot. Good schools is on the ballot. Mass incarceration is on the ballot right now. And all 6 amendments. You have to pay close attention to those 6 amendments because those 6 amendments means everything. It is on the website where it breaks it down and the true meaning of all these 6 amendments. The First Amendment prohibits felons from holding office. A yes vote will prevent felons from holding elected or appointed positions of honor, trust, or profit in this state for at least 5 years. A no vote will allow felons to hold office and fully re-enter society without any restrictions. I can't tell you how to vote, but I can certainly share with you. It explains these amendments. And I'm just going to say that Amendment 2, anonymous verdict for all felony cases. If you know anything about gerrymandering, anything about voter suppression, this mass incarceration is geared toward African Americans. When you look at what is actually going on today, they have built private prisons only because of a black man and black woman and black child. You have to know and understand, and the only way you're going to know and understand is go back and read up on your history in the past and what's going on today that is very much prevalent, that's been going on since the 1800s. So with respect to Amendment 2, I would say a yes vote would require anonymous jurors. Louisiana, and I think is Wisconsin, that is the only 2 states that allow less than 12 jurors. What is that telling us? That's why there is a mass incarceration of African Americans. And so you need to be aware. You need to vote yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, vote yes. Amendment 3 Read it for yourself. A yes vote would allow jurisdictions to donate resources without receiving comparable value. I will vote yes. A no vote will continue to require jurisdictions receive comparable value for any donation provided to another government. Amendment 4, a yes vote would safeguard transportation trust funds from being raided in the future to fund state police. Amendment 5, special property tax exemptions for properties in trust. I would vote yes. A yes vote will allow properties placed in a trust to be exempt from taxes matching the eligible exemptions of the in-place homeowner. That's very important for you, especially you homeowners. Amendment 6, I would vote yes. A yes vote will require phasing in over 4 years the increase in the property taxes due on homes if the reappraised value increased by more than 50%. Then we're talking about the fantasy sports betting. I will vote yes. A yes vote would allow fantasy sports betting in Louisiana parishes that vote to allow it. So those are the 6 amendments that is very important that you take your time and read up on it and get familiar with it.
Madam President, we want to thank you. Thank you for bringing this information to us and sharing it with our viewers. And viewers, as our viewers are aware, with this show, we don't endorse or support any particular candidate or position, but it's great, and I encourage each of you, each of our viewers, to do your homework. And as you heard Madam President sharing her opinion as far as what she's going to do based upon her research, I invite you to do the same. And anyone, any of our viewers that have maybe differing opinions, if you want to share that, that's fine. And again, our program, this show, does not endorse candidates or positions. There's some information, and I appreciate, Madam President, you bringing this information to us. But you, on one of the sheets, it's stressed on here as far as the historically low voter turnout. Now, we hear a whole lot about registering folks and all these drives to get out and register to vote. But my understanding is that of the people that are registered, is less than 40% of them that actually go out and vote.
And that is true. And my perception with that and research and listening to a variety of people in the different communities, the reason why I'm talking about African Americans, the reason why they don't go out and vote is because they believe that their vote don't count.
All right. Well, isn't that so? Their vote doesn't really count, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't to a certain extent because no vote is a vote for the opponent, number one.
All right.
Number two, like I talk to people and I explain to them, the reason why your vote don't count is because, number one, you don't vote. Number two, you don't believe in voting. Our ancestors fought and died for us to have that right. That is a fundamental right to you as an individual to vote. But getting back to the low turnout, the low turnout is because the mindset is that it doesn't count. It doesn't count because, and here's the important thing, because we don't hold them accountable. We hear what they have to say, we move on with our daily lives, and we don't come together as one and start holding these people who have been elected to office accountable. Accountable is the key word. Now we got to move to step 2. We got to start holding people in position, elected, appointed, I don't care who it is, what it is, start holding them accountable. Right. Until we start doing that, we're going to continue to get the same old thing, and the same old thing is not going to change because our mindset has not changed.
Right. Madam President, you're speaking about whether it counts, and just some of the amendments that are on the ballot right now, in particularly an amendment, and that's I think the Second Amendment, and that's relating to unanimous verdicts for convictions of felonies. Now there are a number of instances where folks have been convicted of felonies and sent to prison for life, where you had jurors that actually thought they were innocent. And as I think you highlighted in your comments earlier, that Louisiana is only one of 2 states that still has that draconian law on the books that 10 folks can convict somebody of a felony and send someone to jail for life. So one of our viewers right now, not to wish anything on anybody, but one of our viewers right now may be in a position where they're being judged, and because at this present moment it only takes 10 to convict, someone that's watching the show right now could go to jail for life, even though 2 jurors elected not to find them guilty. So it counts. It does. The vote counts. You know, there are things that on the ballot. There's a clerk of court position that's on the ballot for Orleans Parish. That clerk of court's position, that has impact on the everyday lives of our folks that go to court, civil matters, and depending upon how the clerk's office is run, your case might wind up, the paperwork might get lost. Anything might happen and mess up your case. So it does matter. Vote does matter. It does. We have maybe about 3 more minutes left, Madam Spiller. Why don't you share with us if there's any other, particular points that you want to really stress, whether it's on voting, and one of the things I know that you wanted to make sure that our viewers were aware about, and that's you don't have to wait till November 6th to go vote. That early voting is going on now.
One of the things that I really and I want you to I want you to do your homework like I have. Voters suppression is still going on. It's been going on since the 1800s. I thought, or I believed at one point until I got a wake-up call yesterday. I believed that early voting was good. But come to find out, early voting is not good because 3 elderly black women went in to cast their votes yesterday. They voted straight Democrat. Right in front of their eyes, the machine switched to Republican. They didn't know what to do. But they came to me and another member, and they and I will talk to them more, but I will put this out. I understand that voting early is one of the voter suppression, and people, I want to encourage you, don't vote early, because they are destroying our votes. These machines are rigged, and they are rigged at a certain point and a certain time. And yesterday is a fine example of it. These women have no reason to lie. So that's why it's so important that we read up on and we study. We study for ourselves to know that we are no longer going backwards. We are no longer going to be left out and not reading up on and researching for ourselves. Fact check. That's the word they use. Yeah, fact check.
Right. Check your facts. Don't take anybody's word for it. Now we're going to respectfully. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on the point about early voting.
Okay.
That early voting has, in my estimation, has proven to be a very, very positive thing, and I want to encourage all of our viewers to get out and vote early. Don't wait till November 6th, which is going to be a Tuesday. And I know some of us work on Tuesdays, and we don't want to take off work to go try to vote. Some of us, it might be raining on that Tuesday, and a lot of folks find any reason not to go and vote. I'm glad that you mentioned about the problem that the young ladies ran into when they went to vote, and it's good that they did it now, that there's an opportunity to go correct it because if they'd have waited until November 6th, they might not have had that opportunity to do it. Again, the important thing, whether you vote early or whether you wait until November 6th, the important thing is that you vote. You vote. And, I'm encouraging it. Madam President is encouraging it. There's a whole lot. And Madam President, you spoke about voter suppression.
Right.
If our vote wasn't valuable, then nobody would be trying to suppress it.
That's right.
So that tells you right there that it's a very, very valuable thing.
It is.
Madam President, we have about a minute. Is there anything that you want to share in this closing minute?
I'm sorry. All I just want to say is this. I want you to pay attention. I want you to encourage your neighbors, your family, your friends. Your vote does matter. It does count. A no vote is a vote for the opponent. It's time that we turn the low-turn votes to the high-turn votes. And it's only in the African-American communities. So they got their eyes on us. They count those votes. They see, they know. So let's turn that around. So I encourage you to get out and vote. And like I said, I'm just going to have to do more studying up on the early voting. I just feel like it's just another voter's suppression.
And Madam President, one last thing before we take a break. The Jefferson NAACP has been doing tremendous work since you've been in office. I want to commend you for the work that you've been doing. And I want to hustle some numbers now. So anybody's interested in joining the Jefferson NAACP, how do they do that?
All they have to do is contact me. My telephone number is 504-222-1213. And know this, when you come in the Jefferson Parish branch, come with your sleeves rolled up and ready to work, because it's no joke, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you on, and we're going to have you back on soon.
Certainly.
Okay? Madam Gayla Spillett, President, Jefferson Parish NAACP, and she's doing some great work out there, her and her branch. We encourage them. We thank them for the work that they're doing. We're going to take a brief break, maybe about 90 seconds, and when we come back, we'll go into our announcements, then we'll go into our religious study session, and we will be studying the history of Christianity, Part 2. Be back in about 90 seconds here on The Message.
People who suffer from drug or alcohol addiction sometimes say hurtful things. They drive the people who love them most away. If you know someone who suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, listen. Try to hear what they are really saying. Know that there is hope and help them find their voice again. For drug or alcohol treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We train to any environment, any situation. It could be up on a mountain, on a cliff, it could be in the ocean, it could be a dive mission, it could be out in the desert or the jungle, Arctic, and that's what makes us unique. The motto of the pararescuemen is that others may live. When you go and you rescue these people, the look on their faces is extremely gratifying, and that's the reward in itself. I'm Captain John Fish, and very proud to be a member of the Air Force Reserve.
For a free booklet on the dangers of smoking, contact the Will Rogers Institute.
My name is Juliet Allen, and I've been here since 1960. And this is my home, my new home, which was replaced after Katrina and the levees failed. But all my neighbors, there are so many of them that we all lost our homes at that time. But with the Lord's help, they'll be back too, and He'll give it a try. I hope this never happens again, though. We need the 829 investigation. It's so important. Our lives depend on it.
Home invaders least wanted. Could you be the next victim? American cockroach spreads 33 bacteria and 6 parasitic worms.
And I can trigger asthma attacks.
House mouse contaminates food and transmits disease.
He's lying. Do I look like that kind of girl?
Bedbug feeds on human blood and can cause itchy welts.
Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do about it?
Here's what. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org.
Every child is curious. George, look what I found. Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning.
That's a periscope.
It's one of the most important gifts you can share. Create a curious reader.
Oh, you want to build a castle like that one? This is super bedtime reading.
Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Yeah, but did you see how much he had to drink last night? I can't believe that guy made it home. Nobody drives drunk anymore. Hold on, I got another call coming in.
While drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving and speeding fatalities have skyrocketed. Someone dies every 13 minutes from negligent driving, so keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your phone put away.
Zydeco to me is my life. I grew up listening to this music and said, this don't look too hard to do. My Louisiana is a lot of things. Coming out to the Blue Moon, po' boys at Old Time Grocery. For the best crawfish, you gotta come to my house. We got a saying, tous les jours c'est pas la même chose, which means every day is not the same thing. This area is about having a good time no matter what's going on. I'm Terrence Simeon and this is my Louisiana.
Kids today are full of video games, computers, and cell phones. It's too much of a good thing. Get some nature into your kids. Fill them full of natural wonders, like watching the bald eagle soar, ride the rivers, fish the streams. This weekend, fill your family with the wonders of nature at a national wildlife refuge near you. Many are within an hour's drive. For locations, visit fws.gov/refuges.
America is turning over a new leaf. The SmartWay leaf from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The SmartWay leaf will help you identify environmentally friendlier cars and trucks that can save you money. These vehicles are certified to be more fuel efficient and produce fewer greenhouse gases. And look for renewable fuels to improve our energy independence. Follow the leaf to epa.gov/smartway.
Never speak to strangers. Don't give your name, address, or telephone number to someone you don't know. And always tell me if something or someone frightens you. These are rules we give our kids to keep them safe even when we're not around.
Did you know that the same advice applies to the online world of the internet? Children can be lured into dangerous situations even in the safety of our own homes. Please talk to your kids about how to stay safe online.
For tips and information, go to www.ikeepsafe.org.
I took a trip to Elkhart, Indiana today. Elkhart's a place that has lost jobs faster than anywhere else in America. The people who've lost them have no idea what to do or who to turn to. In fact, local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand.
My name is Mina Cray. I have been in New Orleans since 1950. I came here for jazz and never left. I had 3 fairly close friends who had AIDS, and I felt the need to do something for them in honor of them because they're all gone.
Please donate today.
Welcome back to The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King. We're going to end this hour the same way we started, and that's delivering the message that God is Almighty. Brother Kevin, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Sister Candace, thank you for joining us on Facebook. It was great having Madam President Gayla Spiller from the Jefferson Parish NAACP on the air in the studio. It was great having her. She did want to remind you all that we will, the Jefferson Parish branch will be having a town hall meeting next Thursday. And I'm not sure of the exact time or the location, but that will be next Thursday. And you can give me a call. You can give me a call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that number is 504-821-3221. And I'll get you that information as far as the town hall meeting for the Jefferson Parish NAACP. And my understanding is that they're going to have a candidates forum. So that's something you might be interested to come and educate yourself on what's happening with the upcoming election. Okay, our religious spiritual study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, coming out of the first book of Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. And I remind you doubly to do that, because we're going to have some information that we'll be sharing, some research that I've done, and prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Do your own research. We'll be talking about the history of Christianity. The history of Christianity, part 2, tonight. A lot of good information that we're going to share, and we'll be studying in just a minute. Vote, V-O-T-E, vote. What's important is that you vote. What you vote for, how you vote, even though I might have my opinion on the way you should cast your vote, that's only my opinion. You do your own research, make your own decision about who you vote for and what you vote for. The most important thing is that you vote, that you join the discussion. Vote. Early voting is ongoing now. It's from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. You can vote at the voting machine warehouse on Chef Highway here in the city of New Orleans. You can vote at the Algiers courthouse. You can vote at the New Orleans City Hall, and you can also vote on Spanish Fort in the not the Lakeview area, but the lakefront area. So there are 4 different locations that you can early vote. Early vote tomorrow, Friday. Early vote Saturday. The polls will be closed Sunday, but you can also early vote Monday, and then early voting closes down, I think, Tuesday. So for sure, you can go tomorrow, you can go Saturday, and you can go Monday and early vote. Don't wait until November 6th. It might be storming. It might be anything could happen. Your car might run out of gas, anything. Don't wait until the 6th. Go out and vote now. There's no excuse not to vote. Early vote. And it's my intentions to get out. And usually I go the very first day early voting starts. I wasn't able to go out the past couple of days, but it's my intention to go out tomorrow and cast my vote and early vote. So get out and cast your vote. Our words of inspiration tonight will come out of the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verses 16 to 25. Announcements, www.godisalmighty.org. That is our main website. I invite you to log that into your web browser 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can go to that website, and there are links to all of our social media outlets. There's a religious discussion blog, a Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just go to our main website, and there are links. All you have to do is just click on the little button. It'll take you to our social media outlets. Rock of Ages Ministry International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey, www.ronniebailey.com. That is their main website. And the same thing, there are links to all their other different websites and social media outlets. Go there, lock that one into your web browser also. New Orleans Peacekeepers, that's Minister Willie Muhammad 504-500-1706. They're doing some good work. They've been doing it for quite a while. They go out and walk the streets, go into our neighborhoods, and help people work things out. Instead of resorting to violence, help folks mediate things, talk things out so that they can resolve whatever dispute that they're having. Call 311 from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for free smoke detectors. It was a tragedy this past week on the news. There were two little babies, two little young children that died. There was a fire in a home, and the 3 adults got out, but the 2 children died. And one of the reporters was saying that they don't think they had operating smoke detectors in the house. So if you're in the New Orleans area, you can get a free smoke detector, and they'll actually come out and install it for you. That's the fire department will come out and do that. Just call 311 from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Another tragedy. Check your car's backseat for babies. Watching the news this evening. Today, I'm watching the news, and they had on the news a little baby that died. It was left in the car, and it died from the heat. So even though it's starting to get a little cooler, it doesn't take long for the heat level in the car to rise to dangerous levels. As I said, on the news today about another little child dying left in a car. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Reminder, if you're male or female, check yourself, right? Check yourself. Yes, males do die from breast cancer, so they do. And Sister Giselda, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Hit that share button. Invite all your friends, Sister Giselda, to watch the program. Tricentennial Soul at Xavier University Center, McCaffrey Ballroom, 3rd floor, featuring Deacon John Moore, Dr. Michael White, Oprah Creole, Cynthia Gertley, Don Vappy, Hot Ace Brass Band. Guess what? It's free. It is free. A lot of folks like free stuff. It is free. It'll be Sunday, November the 4th, 2018 at 3 p.m. And it's hosted and sponsored by Dr. Michael White. Again, the Tricentennial Soul at Xavier University Center, McCaffrey Ballroom, the 3rd floor. This past Friday, those of you that watched the show last Thursday, you heard me speak about losing my aunt, Elise Mercadale Brown, who had died, and we had her homegoing services on Friday. While I was in the services, in the church service on Friday, while I was at my aunt's funeral on Friday, my phone rang. I had it on vibrate so they wouldn't disturb things, so I couldn't answer my phone. So this is Friday morning, last Friday morning. And after the service was over, I checked my phone. I had a voicemail, and I returned the call, and I received the information that a close family friend for more than 35 years had died. He died that morning, that Friday morning. I'm in church at a funeral, and to get a phone call that a close family friend of more than 35 years had died that very same morning. And that close family friend is Brother Bill. Brother Bill was not only a close family friend, but Brother Bill was also one of the earliest members of the Society of Knowledge, Inc. And you hear me at the beginning of every show, I say that this show is sponsored by, is produced by, is created by the Society of Knowledge. Brother Bill was a member of the society for more than 35 years. He and his wife, this past July, we visited him. I had the opportunity to visit him in San Antonio, Texas. And here's a short clip from that visit. And I'm going to see if I can.
All right. Hey, we're here in San Antonio, and we're here with Mr. William King Meredith and his, better known as Brother Bill, and his lovely wife, Sister Connie. And we, Brother Bill, Sister Connie, come on there, Sister Connie. All right. Brother Bill and Sister Connie, two of the oldest members and when I say old, from the beginning of the Society of Knowledge. This is July the 19th, 2018. As I say, we're here in San Antonio, and we've just come here to fellowship and to share because it's been a little while since we've last gotten together. And we're going to start off, Sister Connie, you have some words that you want to share with us this morning?
All right. Well, I thank God for having you. We like family, that whenever you pass this area, you drop in to see us. We are thankful, and the family's all grown up and seems to be well-rounded kids, do what kids do. And I'm glad to see all of you. And we.
Brother Bill, you have some words that you want to share?
I'm seeing my brother here. I haven't seen him in about...
It's been a few years.
A couple years.
Yes. Whenever he's going across the country, spreading the word of God, as long as he passes Texas, he comes here.
Thank you, brother.
Yes.
And he's been that way from the day we know him.
We're gonna wrap this, but it was just great coming out here and visiting with Sister Connie and with Brother Bill. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this out, and then we're gonna say a prayer together.
That's right.
All right. Again, Brother Bill. Thank you, brother. There you go.
See you all again. And that's been years, and you never changed. You're the same.
And you all, it said family.
Yes.
Family.
All right. That, if you have someone that you love, give them a hug. You never know when it'll be the last time you have an opportunity to give them a hug. And as you saw me give Brother Bill a hug, I didn't know it at that time that would be the last time that I would see him alive. But, God has a plan for all of us. So, Brother Bill, we've had a lot of long discussions. I learned a lot from you. We've shared a lot of things together. And as you always testified, that God is indeed almighty. So, Brother Bill, you've made that transition. You've made that transition, and we're praying for Sister Connie, praying for her to find peace as she makes this adjustment in her life now, that her helpmeet, her mate, for so many years is no longer with her. So we just thank God for the time that He allowed Brother Bill to be here with us on this earth. This upcoming weekend, there's going to be a celebration in the city of Lafayette, and that celebration is celebrating the ordination of the Reverend John Milton to the position of bishop. And Reverend Milton has been ordained, at least he will be ordained this coming Saturday, October the 27th. He will be ordained a bishop in the African American congregation. He is currently the pastor of Imani Temple number 49 in Lafayette. And the imposition of hands and the invocation of the Holy Spirit will be by Archbishop G. Augustine Stallings, Jr., who is the patriarch and founder of the African American congregation. He will be assisted by Bishop Rosalind Aya Carroll and Bishop Marie Washa Mouton. Again, this Saturday, October 27, 2018, at 10 a.m., Imani Temple number 49, 201 East Willow Street, Lafayette, Louisiana, and there will be a reception following, and the reception will be at the Harambe Event Center. If you want more information, give me a call, and I will get that information to you. I'll be there. And again, that ordination is Saturday, the 27th, and then the following day, Sunday, October 28th, there will be a high mass at Imani Temple, and following the high mass, there will be a brunch. So a full weekend of activities at Imani Temple number 49 in Lafayette, Louisiana. Testimonies, we don't have any testimonies tonight, so we're going to go straight into our religious spiritual study. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Coming out of First Book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. The history of Christianity, part 2. We got a lot of ground that we are going to cover, and we will be studying the history of Christianity for the next 4 weeks. So last week was the first week. Today is the second. We have 4 more weeks, 6 weeks to study more than 2,000 years of history. So you know we'll be condensing things and moving very quickly. But you know it's important. It's very important to study history so that you know who you are and you know where you're going. There are so many of our viewers that consider themselves to be Christians. And it's kind of like, not kind of like, it is being in a family. So your own family, the more you know about your own family, the more you know about yourself. And something as I've grown older, what I've learned is that there are things that I'm finding out about my family that I didn't know when I was younger. Things that, not to say they were family secrets, but things that just weren't talked about every day. And it's the same thing with religions and identifying yourself as a part of a religion. So many of our viewers that classify themselves and identify themselves as being Christian and have very, very little knowledge about Christianity, its origin, and its development. So last week we started out and we were talking about what's called the apostolic stage of Christianity. And by the apostolic stage, what we're talking about is that period in time when Christianity was being formed by the apostles. Okay, by the apostles. Remember, when you read the scriptures, Jesus told the apostles to go out and spread the word. So after Jesus left the earth, Christianity, that church that Christ was a part of, that church developed, and that development was led by the apostles. So scholars, theologians, when we're studying and talking about that period of time, that's called the apostolic period. But let me share something with you. There are many scholars, many theologians that are of the opinion that Christianity really was not a new religion. Christianity really was not a religion started by Jesus Christ. And as a matter of fact, most scholars, most Bible students, most theologians know that the term Christian wasn't used to refer to the followers of Christ until about the year 200 AD. And we read in the book of Acts when it speaks about when those followers, those members of the church, were first called Christians. So up until that point, there was no church called the Christian church. Now, even though there was no church called the Christian church, a lot of folks say, well, it didn't have that name, but it was an identifiable church. Well, let me share something with you. Even before the birth of Christ, there was an existence, there was an organization, whether you call it a church, whether you call it a religion, there was something that existed that had a whole lot of similarities to what we call Christianity. So this is a period of time that I call pre-Christ, before Christ, Christianity. The roots of Christianity, and we're going to talk about this, and it's going to be the Old and New Testament and Josephus. Okay, the Old and New Testament and Josephus. And when I say the Old and New Testament and Josephus, those are references. So when I say something here, it's going to come either from the Old Testament, the New Testament, or from Josephus. See, when we study about the early Christianity, there are no contemporaneous writings that speaks about Jesus Christ. There are no history books of the Jewish people or of the Romans that speak about Jesus Christ. The only information that I've been able to find that speaks about Jesus Christ is the New Testament. So that's the only history that I've been able to find. And when I'm saying history, contemporaneous, history that was written during the time of Christ's life. And actually, the New Testament was not written during Christ's life. So the Old Testament, the New Testament, and then there's Josephus, who is a historian, and that he lived hundreds of years, thousands of years ago, and he recorded history. So we're going to read about Josephus, and we're going to read and study about Melchizedek, the Essenes, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Gnostics, and the Nag Hammadi Library. All right. Old and New Testament, Josephus, Philo, and Pliny. Titus Flavius Josephus was a first century Romano-Jewish scholar and historian who was born in Jerusalem. A first century, 100. Josephus recorded Jewish history. One of his most important works was the Antiquities of the Jews. That work provides valuable insight into first century Judaism and the background of early Christianity. Okay, this information is coming off the web, and you see that website, and that's Wikipedia. So just go to Wikipedia, type in Josephus, and it'll bring up this information. And as we are reminded, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Melchizedek, very, very, very important person, Melchizedek. Look in the book of Hebrews, chapter 5, verses 5 through 6. So also Christ glorified not himself to be made a high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee. As he said also in another place, Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. All right, so now this is the scripture that's saying that God ordained Jesus Christ, and God told Jesus Christ that, look, you are going to be a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Okay, the same order, the same study, and the same guidebook, the same order as Melchizedek. That was God appointing Jesus Christ. So now Melchizedek was before Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ, when he came up in this order, it wasn't something new that Jesus Christ was inventing. He was following along in the footsteps of Melchizedek. All right, so I'm getting a little bit excited because I got to run. Hebrews chapter 7, verses 1 through 4. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and blessed him, to whom also Abraham gave a tenth part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of peace, without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the Son of God, abideth a priest continually. Now consider how great this man was, unto whom even the patriarch Abraham gave the tenth of the spoils. Again, Melchizedek. Do your research. Find out who Melchizedek was. Why is it that he's held in such importance? Why is it that he's said that he's like unto the Son of the Most High God? All right. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Here we see Melchizedek instituting the sacrament of bread and wine. This is hundreds of years before Jesus Christ. Melchizedek. And as the scripture said, that Jesus Christ was ordained in the order of Melchizedek, and we see Jesus Christ at the Last Supper with the bread and wine doing the same thing that Melchizedek did hundreds of years before. All right, we're not going to get a chance to finish. We'll pick this up right here next week, learning a little bit more about the ancient history of Christianity, finding out, what the background, finding out the roots of Christianity. It's a lot of information, but we're going to do our best to share that with our viewers. And it's good to know where you came from, because it's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. As we close out the show tonight, we've read about Christianity. We've read about Melchizedek. We're going to read a little bit more, a lot more about the development of Christianity. But again, this show is not about Christianity. It's not about Judaism. It's not about Islam. It's not about any other ism or anything else like. It's about God, that there is an almighty being. And you heard the scripture said about the Most High God. There's an almighty being, no matter what name you call him. That's what this show is about, delivering the message that there is indeed a Most High God. And it's my prayer, because I know that God is able, it's my prayer that no matter whatever it is that's in God's plan for you in this upcoming week, no matter how high the high might be, no matter how low the low might be, it's my prayer that God Almighty blesses you and yours with peace.